All right, good evening and welcome to some more Hybrid Major glitches on the Link to the Past Randomizer Tournament. We have today krelbel versus Chexhuman, the 10 versus the 7 seed. We'll be seeing some some different glitches and stuff that for those of you that haven't been watching this tournament may have fun with. With me to explain those glitches, since I don't know them that well, is Astor. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Should be a good race. Chexhuman got second in the overall glitches tournament in 2019, the last one the glitch community had, and he's a pretty well-known expert on all things glitches. krelbel is pretty knowledgeable himself. I think prefers racing this mode to most of the other ones that get raced. So should see some good stuff here.
Yeah, definitely a fun mode for those of you that can do those glitches. We'll do our best to explain for those of you that are new to it, but it's pretty fun. You're going to see some different things, some different early routing. You'll notice that the runners start out with boots because a lot of the glitches are much easier with those boots. And here we go. We have different starting points. I've noticed a lot of runners more runners start at Link's house in this mode, but Chexhuman chooses to start at Sanctuary.
Yeah, a lot of people start at Link's house like krelbel's doing, so they can check the Hylia Island, because you can actually clip to this and do an auto walk right away. It's bombs, which is actually kind of interesting, but it's just going to do the clip to the hobo instead. Check's starting off with like a more traditional non-glitched route, I suppose. I guess it's going to go clean up Lumberjack right now.
Yeah, Lumberjack's this tricky location. Unlike our normal modes, the only time we'd ever need to do an Aga kill is if we have an item here, or I guess the other option is if Moonpearl's sitting on Pyramid. Bomb
crab is nice. It's too bad he threw the bush at it and killed it.
There are more of them.
The Buzz Blob is in the bomb pack as well.
Yeah, so lots of places to get bombs. And just 50 rupees, so not likely we're going to have to deal with Aga today.
krelbel is going to Sahasrarlo. You don't need bombs to get to this without, or if you have starting boots. So I've heard some people call this the uncle start of glitched.
That's an interesting way to put it.
So Check's seeing the bombs are available in that prize pack, and also on the crab is trying to farm up a few. I think we saw Cane of Burna and Quake.
Yep.
In Saha for krelbel.
Yeah, Cane of Burna is a nice extra safety, but not really necessary. That Quake could be relevant if it's the entrance to Mire. And if we need Mire for Mire access, possibly also for clearing up either Hera and more likely Swamp.
Yeah, the hybrid major glitches logic, one of the big things that it adds is it can expect you to do underworld clips, and the main one that's usually relevant is the one that it's used in the all dungeons RMG rule set, the Mire to Hera to Swamp mega route. Usually the keys are not placed such that you can actually get to Swamp from the front, and sometimes not Hera either, so that's often required. The Mire Medallion doubly important in this. Looks like Chex has done the Death Mountain Ascent clip and is going through the Old Man Cave blind. All this stuff is well, the Old Man is not in logic without the lamp, but almost all the stuff they're doing is in logic right now. In Sphere 1 is just such a huge space of things they can search for.
Yeah, and of course skipping the lamp is pretty standard in any mode, so no surprise he's going to go ahead and do this glitch right now. Just 20 rupees from the Old Man, though.
The Old Man turn-in is still really good to get the save and quit point, so that you don't have to do that save and quit. You don't have to do the clip up here multiple times. So Check's doing the clip into Tower of Hera, which you're going to see many, many times, because it's the fastest way to get to the top of that screen.
We see a map there. Let's see if we get any sort of key in the other chest. We may not. It does make it more likely we might get a useful item. And neither. Map and compass on the first floor, ick. That's
Yeah.
just rude.
So the only difference in logic from overworld glitches is the clips in the underworld. The major glitch clips in the underworld. So actually, the minor glitches that are in the underworld aren't in logic either. Harapot and Mimic Clip and what's Potion Camera Unlock, stuff like that. That would normally be like in dungeon sequence breaks. Those are still out of logic. Checks during the graveyard ledge clip.
Okay, it's Maria in the back of Blindside.
Yeah, krelbel finally getting something useful from Kakariko.
Yeah, it took a while.
Kakariko is a little bit drier than in regular modes because Spear 1 is just so much bigger. There's less chance that it's going to put your glove, things like that here, because you just don't need the glove to get to as many places. You don't need your traditional Dark World access items to get to Dark World.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that gloveless seed. The one glove required thing is still Ice Palace. Ice Palace, you don't think of Ice Palace as needing a glove, because normally you just have mitts by the time you can go there, but you do need that glove to lift those rocks, so if Ice Palace is a crystal, we'll need the glove. Otherwise, there's a lot of things we can get around without it.
Yeah, interestingly, the Ice Palace is locked by glove in the exact same places that it's locked by hammer.
Yeah. Yeah, Kakariko is coming up pretty dry, but that Canis Amari is nice, because we can, once we get a Moon Pearl, and maybe even if we don't have a Moon Pearl, we can clip into Turtle Rock in various ways. That Canis Amari can come in handy there.
What actually I think is kind of funny is so the Cane of Samaria icon is in the server icon for the glitch tournament Discord, but none of the 3 tournaments that it has hosted so far has actually been in a rule set that lets you do Cane of Samaria glitches, which are like the underworld transition corruptions, which are a lot of those are used in no logic in the full major glitches rule set. I just find that kind of funny. But eventually we'll probably see some cane action here in the coming years. Krelbel clipping to desert.
I mean, we do traditionally consider the Canis Samaria one of the broken items, if not the broken item of this game.
Yeah, it's just not used that much for that purpose in these rule sets yet. We have Icebreaker, which is pretty cool, but they chose to allow that in the no glitches racing rules.
Yeah, also the diver down, which actually can be done. Maybe it's a little more significant in glitch because you can accidentally or even on purpose flood the key, the one I guess it's the 3rd key in a normal run. The second
for
pot
swamp.
key. Yeah, for swamp.
I pretty much everyone except me knows how to do the bomb diver down though.
Yeah, well, and me, I've done it and I never promptly forgot it, so it's something I need to relearn as well.
So Chex, I think, was riding in K45.
Yeah, it was 50 rupees, I think. Yeah.
I didn't fully see the route he was taking, but Krelbel going into desert. Desert's really common early play. You normally follow it up right after Kakariko.
Yeah, and they can get to the back, even without gloves in desert. However, still need a fire source to get all the way through it, so not likely that we're going to see Krelbel finish this dungeon. But that's okay, just like in any normal mode. The back of desert, you just get to it later, especially if you have a mirror. Of course, mirror doesn't always show up here either, but yeah, we have ways around that too.
It's just generally, it's not too hard to get back here. But actually, if you did clip to the back of desert without a glove, was that second item?
I think
sure.
so.
I feel like this is like the number one thing that commentators fail to pay attention to the most is counting dungeon items.
Oh, I'm terrible at it. I'm bad enough at it when I'm playing. When I'm watching someone else, it just.
So Krelbel's gonna.
Go ahead. The nice thing about these clips into desert earlier is it makes it easier to route things like a Gina's cave. Although we're gonna see K45 from Krelbel first.
Yeah. K45 into a Gina's cave. Is often done here is just so you can save and quit out of a Gina's cave because it's slow to walk out of it. Actually, I didn't realize that K45 could be gotten there so efficiently. There's one of my races where I got a lot of remarks in chat that I did the lightest K45 anyone has ever seen, and I was just like, oh, wait, what was wrong with what I did?
And so far, the only significant thing we've seen, really, is that Canis Samaria, not a whole lot else. So, the things that could lead to, once we get a Moon Pearl, GT Clip is an option, though we would need, at the very least, a fire source if we want to go to the right side, preferably the fire rod, which is what would put it in logic.
Check's taking a faster way south of Kakariko, and I think is able to go like straight to the ledge where you had clipped it. Desert. Yeah, didn't even have to do another clip for it.
Very nice. Looks like krelbel's going to make his first trip to the mountain.
I guess that works for him because he came up through Kakariko from the south, so he had checked like library already. So with a lot of different options available at the start, there's a lot of variance in how people route this, and a lot of the Sphere 1 is actually people retracing the other runner's steps. That I think that happens a lot in early game for this mode.
Yeah, it feels like it happens maybe a little more so in this mode because there is a fairly standard route that a lot of people do in a regular mode. Of course, not always. You know, sometimes you'll see the early Eastern plays or the do South Shore before Kakariko, but I feel like that's a lot more of an exception in that mode than some of these other different routes are in glitched.
There's some people that have just rushed early Eastern after the Saha play, because the Saha play is pretty common. Okay, krelbel doing the King's Tomb clip, which is you get to it from the same place that you did the Graveyard Ledge clip. You kind of have to pick one or the other to do. You can't really do both. You have to do it twice. So you're able to actually pick up that rock without the mitts, because the spot that you drop off at, you end up inside a bush at the spot that you land. So the game sees that you're inside the bush, and it's like, oh, you must be able to pick this up. So it lets you pick up the rock.
Nice. Yeah, we did see some half magic, which, you know, definitely not needed, but certainly a nice find. krelbel is going to see the crap that we can get in Hera right now.
There's more variance in this mode. So,
yeah, for sure.
There's some seeds where you're like, you know, last locationing your go mode in a really bad spot. And then there's also seeds where you just get what you need really fast and you're probably on low equipment to fight bosses at that point. So the half magic might be good.
Yeah, I think that, and it makes sense because each sphere is so much bigger. There's so many more options to send you the wrong direction, but you know, with things being in logic earlier, there's also the possibility of just getting the right items quicker. One of them needing that 300 rupees, but you know, it's there if they need it.
I think krelbel is going to show us our first look at East Death Mountain. This clip is a common way to get there. You can do the exact same clip in the Dark World as well.
Yeah, this will allow us to see all these checks that normally you need either mirror and hammer or a hook shot to get to. So
okay.
8 checks.
A floating island item is also available at this moment. A nice boom dash from Chex getting the boomerang to chase him.
Did you see what it was?
It was a floating island is a red rupee. It's not important, but like it is available. So yeah. It's like if that item's a good item, it's in Sphere 1 and I can also clip to it right away, which
yeah, I think we've seen moon pearls up there. We once saw a bow. Ooh, a nice sword for krelbel, first to get one.
I'm really happy to get first sword in this mode because the boot start I just find so awkward without a sword.
Boots without a sword is just horrible. We'll get a couple of really big ticket item caves. Chexhuman about to do mini Moldorm. Of course, that's 5 items. And krelbel in Paradox Cave, which will be a total of 7 items.
Yeah, if mini Moldorm in particular. Okay, mirror for krelbel.
Mirror's nice.
But you
Again,
get
not needed, but there's a lot of things we can do with that mirror beyond even the normal stuff.
it actually might be logical Dark World access to mirror clip off of Death Mountain without a Moon Pearl.
Oh, well, there's a moon pearl.
Okay, Moon Pearl on Chex's side. So, and a bottle? I think that's first bottle
Yeah.
for Chex.
A fairly pedestrian location for the moon pearl, but he'll take it. Meanwhile, I wonder if krelbel is going to follow that mirror into the dark world.
So I think that oh, it looks like he might actually be doing that. So one good thing that comes out of this, I suppose, is like if you have the mirror, you can kind of route in South Dark World and South Shore at the same time, and I think that's one reason to put it off. Oh, he's doing Pyramid Fairy. Actually, this is smarter.
Ah, okay.
This doesn't take very long to do, even without the pearl, and it's a valid location for the pearl. So what Carlbell did was he did a clip off the bottom of the Death Mountain screen to screen wrap, and that desynced his local and global coordinate. So when you mirror, it places the portal that links global coordinate, and that actually ends up being it ends up putting the mirror portal in the Hyrule Castle courtyard at a spot where once you step into it, you can enter the Pyramid Fairy entrance without having to bomb the crack open. And one cool thing that he did here also was he chose to combine this with the Graveyard Ledge clip, which I'm not very familiar with how Houlihan works. I always forget the details, but the way it messes up the camera doing Graveyard Ledge clip will generally get you a Houlihan out of the hole that you put, and that puts you at Link's house. So it's a common route to do that sequence to set up Pyramid Fairy.
Meanwhile, Chex was checking out the Zora area. It looks like all he got out of that is some red mail. But we do see a bow at that Pyramid Fairy, so that's really nice for krelbel. Could do Eastern. Actually, could can't quite full clear pod. Still need that hammer, but could combine the two because we can clip into pod as well. It's one of the added glitches. Yeah, kind of a vanilla bow because that would be the Silver's location in a regular run.
I almost never think of that as like a bow location because it's really not, but the way the progressive bows work in this. Oh, hammer!
Oh,
Uncle.
wow, hammer. Okay, so so do you just go do pod now and combine it with Eastern?
Yeah, they have everything they need to do that. We still don't know our Dark World pendants. I don't think
We
Krubble
don't.
did a map check. Actually, it would have been a really good time for him to do a map check.
Looks like he's going to do escape first, which is commonly routed in with the mirror.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to get this done right now. This is the closest you're going to be to it, really. And actually, the whole Pyramid Fairy sequence, this is also, it just puts you really close to Uncle. And Uncle is also a spot that it's really easy to not check it for like over an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Just because there's so much open in this mode. But I think, like, so you can do a clip called Kiki Skip to get to Pod from one of the Death Mountain caves. It's the Spectacle Rock exit. So you can clip from there into Pod during Cave State. And you can use Cave State to open one of the key doors for free and then leave and come back in. So Pod is pretty fast to get to. It can also have the Moon Pearl. And having hammer and bow and also mirror to be able to mirror to Eastern from the front of it, I think is really good. Dark turtles are maybe a bit of a concern, but
yeah. So one thing that might stop him is no fire source, but I mean it's all doable. Obviously, Dark Room's still not in logic, but
So like he's got 7 hearts and blue mail and a sword. I don't think it's the worst decision to do that, but we'll see.
Yeah, it depends on your comfort level. Certainly you can. The rest of it, yeah, the dark trails is the scary part, and maybe the room getting back to the Armos Knights, but both are doable. And yeah, the blue mail does help.
So Chexhuman setting up the Pyramid Fairy sequence and started death warping. So like you can't save and quit off of here because that will remove the portal. So what was actually sometimes done in the speedrun, one of the options to get off was to do a death warp. But it looks like he's thinking better of doing the death warp because he has red mail. It's so hard to die with red mail. So he's just going to do the Graveyard Lodge clip, do King's Tomb. Oh, actually, no. No, he wasn't thinking better of it. He planned this whole thing. He planned to death warp at a King's Tomb. Okay.
Nice. We didn't get a small key to get to the back of Escape, so krelbel not going to be able to do the back, but he did clear out the front. Let's see where he heads now. I guess he's going to go, yeah, looks like he'll do some South Shore action beforehand, which is good because he'll get his Moon Pearl. Don't actually need the Moon Pearl to do the Kiki skip, but it does give him more options in the long run.
So Check's doing the uncle first, actually, to getting spit out here. You're kind of in the courtyard already, I suppose. That's why he's doing this. Or maybe he just didn't want to mirror again. I'm not sure. He's doing that in the opposite order from krelbel. Okay, so he's going to do Escape before he does Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, that shouldn't matter.
Oh, it's a good point. So he's going to stay in Dark World. Malmo pointing out. He's got Moon Pearl already, so he's going to just do Pyramid Fairy at the end of this chain, so he can stay in the Dark World after that.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, krelbel gets his Moon Pearl. See where he heads next. See if he also goes over to Zora. The fake flippers and the water walks that we saw Chexhuman, those are also in logic here, so Zora in logic. krelbel can also get his red mail if he does this.
Yeah. There are like other ways to get to Zora. And Ice Rock here for that matter. But one of the main ways of getting to Zora is doing Death Mountain descent from the Turtle Rock area. And he's already been to Paradox Cave and such, so I think it makes sense for him to just do the Water Walk to get to Zora here.
The water walk's pretty quick anyway, so easy to set up.
I expect the Death Mountain descent there, probably in the Dark World later to get to Catfish.
Yeah, we see that all the time. Catfish is such a terrible place to get to in general.
Yeah,
that's a little bit better
it's a
than
little
normal.
It's a little better in this mode.
Yeah, we do see him doing that Zora check. So basically, we're doing the usual. We're gonna, like you said earlier, the retracing each other's steps. We'll see where Chex goes once he gets out of here and ends up back in the Dark World.
But the value of the pod Eastern play that I was talking about, I think depends a lot on whether pod's dependent. We just haven't checked that information yet.
Yeah, Chex might be incentivized to check it right now, considering he's going to find this bow here and now knows that he can, if he so chooses, he can full clear both dungeons. It is a crystal. We also see Ice and Mire as our pendants. And our 5/6 are Pod and Swamp. Not that we care, because we already checked Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, so Ice is green pendant.
So let's go Globalist Seed.
Yeah, krelbel doing the clip into Eastern. It's pretty common for glitched runs. Glitch runs have to do that without boots, so it's pretty tough to optimize that in vanilla. But here it's totally fine and easy.
And Check's gonna check Hype Cave, see if we got anything in here today. So far, a lot of money. And a mushroom! So, to be determined on that mushroom. I was interested in krelbel is gonna just go ahead and just do Eastern and didn't try and combine that with Pod.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the idea of the mirror combination there, but there's a lot of options. Probably a large amount of pod that's not in logic because of no lamp or fire rod.
Chex is going right to turn in that mushroom. Let's see what we got. Red potion.
That's kind of funny.
He's resetting that. Yeah, I guess he loses everything out of Hype Cave, but I think the rest of it was money and pieces of and one piece of heart. So really no loss there. Also loses the actual mushroom. So unless did he didn't save and quit after the Hype Cave, did he?
I didn't see.
Yeah, I don't think he did. So if he wants to fake powder with that mushroom, he's gonna have to go pick that up again. But I think we're a long way off from wanting to do that. I think.
I kind of assumed he did, honestly, but it's very possible he could have mirrored. He has the bottle from Paradox, anyways. So. Okay, oh no, mini Moldorm is where it was.
Yep. We do see some flippers at the sick kit, and we do still need those for Swamp Palace, so good to have them. It also could be our logical access into Ice Palace. I find it kind of funny that the clips into Ice Palace, the mirror clip and the flipper.
Chex is doing a map rep to Eastern, which is I don't actually know if this particular map rep is scary, but a lot of the map reps, if you move in the wrong direction, you can hard lock the game with an infinite screen wrap, because when you map wrap, usually the destination kind of overworld screen is like not the correct size that the game is expecting. It's not the correct dimensions because not all the overworld screens are the same size. So there's a lot of ways to hard lock doing that.
Okay, so krelbel is about to get to the Armos, and it's going to get that first crystal. Very nice quick kill. Unfortunately, just some bombs, but we do get that first crystal. Looks like there really wasn't a whole lot of interesting stuff in Eastern Palace, though.
So a lot of the glitches they're doing to like get around the overworld quicker are just like expanding their routing options, and they're not necessary to. Not all of them are necessary to complete the seed, anyways. But it just gives you more options. You can still go to Eastern in more of the normal ways.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is a lot of them are faster, and if you're good at them, so no reason not to do them. Let's see, where is krelbel going now? Maybe,
So, like, a lot of the main ones, like, knowing how to clip into Hera and Paradox Cave and get up the mountain and stuff, those things are almost always required. So, every player that does this is going to want to know, like, a few specific ones.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from that, you're kind of free to do as you choose. I think we're going to see a more traditional Death Mountain descent from krelbel. We're going to bonk here to get on top of the transition boundary properly and get an auto walk so that we're not stuck in the wall. And krelbel going to check Bumper Cave, which we can just clip to immediately if it's something that we want.
Not those 20 rupees.
And he's going to go into Skullwoods, which is it's common to just do when you're along this path. Like this is kind of like once you've done Death Mountain Descent, I find this part of pathing pretty similar to like if you're doing an Agaseed and you hook shot across the river, the routing is a bit similar from there because you put some effort into getting to this point, so you don't really want to be skipping stuff.
Yeah, you don't want to have to take that because if you don't find the stuff to make getting into Dark World earlier, you don't want to have to go all the way back around. In the same manner as if you, in that Agaseed example, you don't want to have to go all the way back around from the Pyramid Dark World entry.
So vanilla big key and Skullwoods, not too important. But we have another shot at getting an item out of the front without needing the fire rod to get all the items here.
Okay, let's see if Chex decides to do the same thing.
Chex is going for Keiki Skip. He's doing
Nice.
the different. It's like if you do the Hera clip in the way that like he eats you, it looks like he did something wrong, but it gives you a faster way to the Spec Rock exit cave, which is the one you use for Kiki Skip. Oh, krelbel was trying to get the. Oh, that's not a key in this mode, I don't think.
No.
But he got knocked into. The Gibda knocked him into the Wallmaster hand before he could get the chest.
Wall masters are bad in any mode. Meanwhile, Chex goes into pod with the, what is it, 255 keys the game thinks you have. So you open up the first door for free. But then you want to actually go ahead and reset the dungeon. So it actually is pod and you're using actual pod keys. It takes a little bit too long to open any more doors. So you just do the one.
Yeah, and you don't want to be opening chests either because if you get a key, it'll wrap your count back to 0. If you get the big key, you pretty much permanently lose it.
Yep.
You can't use it while in pod. So, I actually locked myself out of pod in a multi-world once doing that. It's pendant, luckily, but at least I learned not to do it here in the tournament. So having that extra key door open gives you some more routing options in pod. You have to pay a bit more attention if you're used to regular modes because the key count is going to be different. It might be a bit harder to tell how many you've actually picked up.
And krelbel is going to go ahead and do Thieves Town. Full clearable. We do have the hammer, so no reason not to do this now.
These are 2 dungeons, at which point we're going to see a decent amount of non-glitch play for a little bit.
Yeah, not much you can do within Thieves Town, and the pod stuff is all on the front end.
I think there's a clip to get from Thieves Town to Desert, but I don't think it has any uses in this really.
There's that big key. So far, the most notable thing I believe in Thieves Town has been that bottle.
Yeah, I mean we already have access to a bottle. Oh, there's a glove and pod.
Yeah, we don't care about that bottle really. Yeah, glove and pod is much more interesting.
So the bottles can be filled with blue potions for blue YBAs to get a fake flute effect.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
which is not
useful.
Which is not unlogic. It is useful. With Pearl and Mirror this seed, I think maybe probably not. I don't know how much they're going to be relying on that in this seed. There are some seeds where it's a lot more useful, I think.
I believe we've seen both map and compass in pause, so there is an item on Helma. Unless we find a fire rod in here, Chex will have to do this in the dark if he wants to finish the dungeon now. Glove and
both
Mitts.
gloves are in here. Wow.
Mitts, I mean, so Mitts do a few things. It makes Ice Palace entry easier, although we hope not to go into Ice Palace today because it is a pendant. And it opens what? Smiths and Purple Chest?
Yeah, Smith is logically the only thing that that are completely hard locked by Mitts. You can sequence break that with the red-green YBA, but given it's generally a slow sequence and it's not in logic without the Mitts ever, it's not something people would do until they get it. So a lot of glitch runners, I think, do not like to see the Mitts pop up because it means that that's now an option on the table. It's not as bad with the mirror, but I think with the amount of freedom you have in glitch, there's always like faster things you can do than Smith Chain.
Well, and technically the Smiths won't be in logic until we get a lamp anyway, so I don't think Chex is going to be in any race to go do that check.
That is true. It's going to depend on where the lamp is.
You know, it looks like we haven't gotten a whole lot out of Thieves Town, but you know, Thieves Town doesn't benefit from any kind of a go mode really, except maybe skipping the big chest. So, you know, it's one of those dungeons that when you get the chance to do it, you just do it. Especially when you can full clear it with that hammer. Don't have to worry about leaving anything behind that big chest.
Okay, so Chex is doing Dark Turtles right now. And doesn't really have a great item to help with it. Actually, it has Quake. I'm not sure if he used it.
Based on the magic he has left, I'd say he hasn't.
Oh yeah, probably. The best item you want here without the lamp is obviously Fire Rod. You can light the torch and actually see what you're doing. Any medallion you bring in here can help somewhat, though. But for Quake, it's like I think it turns the flipped turtles. Like the medallions will only work on already flipped turtles.
Yep.
But I think the Quake will turn them into slimes, which is like kind of I think it's varies player by player whether they actually find that useful or not enough to use it.
Okay, well, Chex did make it through. Not that we could see it. But good,
So
good on him. Gonna do this helmet swap. It helps to have that red mail too.
Yeah, so I think he got super speed to extend the hammer hitbox to make the 4 hits on the second phase easy.
And gets a sword. Nice. Meanwhile, krelbel picks up his flippers from the sick kid.
Okay, so for go mode, we need Fire Rod and Ice Rod for Turtle Rock. We need Fire Rod for Skullwoods as well.
Hookshot for Swamp.
Yeah, Hookshot for Swamp. I think that's it. I think that is all that we need.
Possibly a Meyer medallion?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay, probably for Swamp. Actually, not really. Logically, probably. But the hookshot will suffice to do Harapot to
Well,
actually no, it depends on if the Hera key's available.
Yeah, I was about to say it depends on where those Hera keys are, because yeah, they can logically, yeah, you would need it because the game is not going to expect you to ever use this Hera small for the swamp stuff, because there's one Hera small and there could be an item in the basement. But you know, if that key is available and there's nothing behind it in Hera, it's not unusual to see runners now that we have the Hera pot use that small key.
Okay, lumberjack DMD, I guess, is the thing, which I should have
Nice.
figured since there's a lumberjack DMA. But
Yeah, it's fun to
I
watch Chex play because he just breaks out these glitches like it's like there's nothing to him. It's these are not easy. People call this game. They joke about it being, well coded in a sarcastic way, but I tend to think it actually is pretty well coded because it's not like these are like super easy. So you have to actually work at it to make sure that you get these things right. You're not doing these by accident in a casual playthrough for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, it's still pretty easy to do boots clips, like when you know the technique, because like you're kind of doing the same trick everywhere, and it's not really that hard.
But the point is, you're not doing it accidentally.
I like watching glitch players that are like more experienced than me because I always see them pull out something that I never thought of before, or that I never seen before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
completely. But krelbel was in the mire area briefly to check the medallion, which was bombos.
Which of course we don't have. Of course, it's not the Quake that we do have.
Okay, so there's another thing that we can do to get around not having the hierarchy. And that is, so the beetle room has a diagonal wall inherent, and you can use that to clip to the sewers and steal the key from the rat. You can actually use that, get that key while in Hera state, and then use it to clip the swamp.
Would that be faster than, especially given that Misery Mire is a pendant, would that be a faster option potentially than going all the way from Mire?
Yeah, probably. I don't actually remember what room it clips to specifically. But yeah, it is also faster than finding the Mire medallion if it doesn't turn up. But I think like even if you did have the Mire medallion, it would probably be faster than going into Mire if you had no other reason to go in there.
Yeah. Where are we going, krelbel?
Okay, so it's going into GT. GT has no junk fill in this, like it does in the regular modes. So there is actually often progression in here proportional to the number of checks that are in here, which is a lot. So
he's gonna do tile room. This is in logic. He can do bomb jumps for the left side. That is not in logic because we don't have the hook shot. Except there is the map room with the double fire bar. That room is in logic with just bonking. So certainly going to want to do that one.
Yeah, but it also requires 4 keys to be in logic. So usually it's not, but I think it depends on like actually the availability of the hook shot or like whether you can get how many doors you can actually get to waste keys on. I think matters.
Yeah.
For the map door.
Sadly, just 10 arrows in tile room. Oh, we are going to get that fake powder from Chex.
Samaria, I think, is actually like his only magic item.
He's got the cane of Burna.
Oh, no, yeah, that's true.
Which is a great magic waster, so we'll surprise using Samaria. Unfortunately, just 10 arrows.
Samaria is probably faster than Burna, because like Burna's got a pretty low like consistent cost. It just has the larger starting cost. So actually, there's a faster way to drain your magic. Oh, he was using Burna dashes on the way to it. Okay, I didn't see that.
Okay, there's that big key. So the big key is behind the hook shot.
So yeah, the hook shot won't be in the GT climb. We can tell from that. And a lot of these keys are showing up behind the hook shot as well.
That's actually pretty important to keep in mind, especially if you're a non-hover or non-Moldorm bouncer. Nice lamp location, by the way.
Yeah, hookshot locked lamp as well. So hookshot's not going to be in a dark room. And depending on where the fire out is, it might not be in like a torch locked room either.
Also, depending where the other swords are, may not be on a tablet. Because we did see the Master Sword that Chex is running around with. That was on Helma. Although odds are there's another sword accessible, so that really is probably irrelevant.
So there's actually a pretty silly way you can waste magic quickly with the medallions, because like normally they take a long time to cast. But there's a trick you can do called medallion cancel, which is you do a spin dash input, but with the medallion instead of the boots, and that uses up the magic from the medallion without casting it. But it's risky because if you mess it up, then you do the cast and you waste a bunch of time.
So for the lamp, the only thing of note in GT, although that lamp, like krelbel didn't want to do the pod play. Now he's going to be perfectly comfortable doing that, so that'll definitely help him out a little bit. We'll have an easier turtle room when he gets there. Red boomerang, the only thing notable in rando room. He could take that lamp and sequence break the right side as well. We'll see if he does that.
Yeah, I don't know, because like one of the primary items you're looking for here is fire rod. I could see not doing it.
Yeah, I can see not doing it as well.
I have no idea what his hovering capability is, honestly. So like also thinking about like what it would take to do the GT climb right now.
Yeah, and the scary part about the GT climb isn't even just, I mean, if you can hover, go ahead and do, or even a Moldorm bounce, but there could be an item you need in that chest. And it would really be awful to go all the way through and go all the way up and get the hover and or Moldorm bounce, and then you just don't get the item, and it's become something important. Oh, hey, look, another sword.
It's good to have a sword here, too. I mean, you can kill Moldorm every time that you attempt to hover, which is like that'll be completely fine for the people who are really consistent at it. But it can be a bit of a pain. Didn't get the quick kill. Went for a strat I haven't really seen before.
Okay, he is just going to go ahead and save and quit. Yeah, I think that, I mean, we know the hookshot's not going to be on the climb, so I think at this point, there really is no reason to force that, I don't think. And same thing for the right side, because, yeah, like you said, he's looking for that fire rod as one of the 3 items. 3 or 4, if that Meyer Bombos ends up being something they want to use.
It's actually so slow to do that room without the fire rod.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's like, it's not that hard if you've practiced it before, but it's really slow to set up. And if you mess it up, it costs a lot of time too.
Yeah, and one of the things, I mean, he has got that Quake medallion, but it's really useful to have a bombos to be able to insta-kill the enemies in the room to that north part. Otherwise, you have to kill all of them, and they're not hard enemies, but they're tough enough that, it's slow to kill them all. So he's just going to go ahead and do pod now. For krelbel, this will fully be in logic, so... Well, okay, it's behind the hookshot, but otherwise, fully in logic.
The anti-sword shooter is like one of the most annoying parts of that extra room in GT, where you're setting up the fire rodless bomb jump.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Chex has mitts. Krelbel's gonna get mitts from pod here, because both of the gloves are in here.
So mitts are also behind a hookshot.
And Check's going to clip to Checkerboard Cave, which is one of the very few completely gloved locked locations in this mode. And he's gonna clip back onto the ledge here. Get back to his mirror portal.
Stumpy with just some bombs.
So krelbel's finishing pod gonna get his mitts and even up the crystal count. I can't remember if he's done a lot of this South Dark World stuff.
I don't think he's done any of the South Dark World stuff, in fact. We haven't seen much in this area, though, so if he never gets here, that'll be time save for him.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of GT checks over checks currently.
Yep. Yeah, just a heart container at the dig game. Check says 12 hearts, decides not to pick 12 hearts red mail, doesn't even want to pick it up. I don't blame him.
You have to like sometimes when you dig up that item, it like bounces really far out of your way too, and then and then like you also want to try and get off the screen before the timer goes out because there's the extra text box from it.
And Chex is going to go ahead and turn the smith, even though we're still out of logic. Chex doesn't know that this is also behind the hook shot. I mean, it could be a fire rod or an ice rod, though.
Oh yeah, that's true. So mitts are, let's see. No, are they? Lamp? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so
the second glove was completely lamp locked. The first one I think was just fire locked.
Oh yeah, so yeah, that's really interesting. krelbel's gonna actually know that for a fact. That is really interesting. I mean, hookshot's not the only thing they're looking for, at least. Ice rod is.
Yep. Yeah, this could still be ice rod, fire rod.
Ice rod isn't like quite as big of a defender in glitch modes because you have ways to clip directly to laser bridge. So it's like you're not gonna have the giant risk of just like losing 5 minutes on a TR play. But
yeah, you don't have to worry about saving mirror portals and such things like that.
But it can still be like pretty much anywhere. So
yeah.
It
actually more anywhere. I was gonna say,
yeah.
like the only place it can't be would literally be Trinex, right? When you think about it, because it could be in GT places. Now. And we see a book. Well,
the clip to go down from the like south of Grove screen to get right to the thief to turn on purple chest is pretty cool. Actually, it is super convenient because you can just get the Balmos tablet right here
and get a shield. Definitely not what we're looking for.
Yeah, the book's never needed for desert in this mode, so it's literally just for the tablets.
Okay, Check's gonna clip into the mire area.
Okay, I've never seen the lower, like, mire clip either.
Yeah, me neither. Which, I mean, if you haven't seen it, it's much less likely I would have seen it.
So Check's finding out about Bombos medallion requirement here. It's almost certainly going to be a logical requirement, unless... oh yeah, actually for sure it is logically required because keys are not available.
I would say unless we get the 1 in 10 key placement that the...
No, it's actually still required for Hera. We already know that for a fact, logically.
Oh yeah, never mind, you're right.
So even if the swamp key is vanilla, it's still... the Mire medallion still logically required to access Hera.
I mean, that we can easily ignore as long as the hookshot's not behind it. I say easily ignore, but yeah, that is assuming the hookshot's not in Hera somewhere. Oh hey, tempered sword. Not a whole lot in back of escape there, but you know, tempered sword is nice. krelbel is gonna get his master sword in just a second, finishing up Helmasaur. It looks like he already had the master sword, so both runners on tempered now. Did he get the back of escape score? Is there another one that I missed him getting?
There's one in Bob's chest.
Oh, one in GT. That's right. I did catch that. So,
we know all the swords now.
Yep.
Book is useless, by the way.
Book is normally useless, except when it's not, because you don't check it.
purple chest book in glitched too. Just like
Yeah.
it's actually a pretty extended fetch quest for this mode. We knew it couldn't be hookshot at least. So krelbel doing a clip from Eastern up to the potion shop area, and you have to be careful to not. You have to fix the camera before you touch that screen transition, because the screen transition is not supposed to be in the middle of the screen. So I think you hard lock in an infinite screen wrap if you touch that too early.
Okay, krelbel turning in his mushroom. He wants the he wants to keep that bottle, looks like. Which is just as well considering the magic bat has nothing.
Yeah, so filling up on blue potions, which you see very often in Randomizer, but in this case it's more likely to be for fake flute than it is for safety. Chex hovering hookshot cave. He's just like and all the checks that he's done in like the last like 5 minutes have been places the hookshot can't be, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, well, at least this one he knows the hookshot can't be at. But could still be fire rod or ice rod. Let's see if he goes for this one again. Looks like he is. Usually you'll go for it right here instead of doing a hover to do 2 bonks.
Yeah, this top hookshot cave chest. Okay, he did manage to get it. It's the most easily isolated one because the first hover will get you the middle 2 chests because you can bonk to the other one that you don't go straight to. But that top one, if you miss the hover, and it's like now you're priced into like going back and retrying that hover for just 1 chest instead of multiple, and it's easy to like make the call to isolate it if you're not like 90+% at your hovers. So we're seeing the catfish DMD from Chex, and it's nothing. krelbel probably going to follow up with that soon, unless he wants to clip into Turtle Rock instead, which I could maybe see. I think
we have that cane.
I think people tend to actually prefer catfish over Turtle Rock generally, from what I've seen. A lot of places where I've chosen to do Turtle Rock, people have done the catfish DMD. So I don't know. I think my understanding of this mode is just like from a different perspective. I don't do a lot of the same things other people do. But we'll see what krelbel does after hookshot cave. So we heard that he's not really a hover. He's just gonna check the bonk chest, I think. Oh, I forgot the shovel is here. That's kind of
could be something.
Gross.
Yeah, looks like krelbel's not going to bother doing the hovers, so that just may not be in his skill set, or at least not enough in his skill set that he wants to take the time to do it. And of course, we know the hookshot can't be here. We're only looking for those 2 rods otherwise. So
okay, yeah. DMD to catfish. Oh yeah, we saw the shovel check already. It was a bottle. Okay. Actually, I think I understand why people choose DMD to catfish. It's much harder to get to if you don't do it right now. You can decide to go back to Turtle Rock more easily. It's more incentivized. But I guess like if you're at that point and you don't choose to do catfish from there, and you're choosing to do Turtle Rock instead, and you clear Turtle Rock, then you like de-incentivize going to both places from there. And there's like no other good way to get to catfish. Chexhuman doing there's a very specific set of movements for that clip that get you to a really easy mirror wrap spot to get to Laser Bridge. You don't have to necessarily do it this specific way, but it kind of sets it up for you almost.
Now this clip in particular is not in logic, right? To get to Laser Bridge, though, it's very silver's nice.
Yeah, it's not in logic. The mirror wraps aren't in logic because they're like one frame. The OWG rules kind of stay away from making the player do like 1 frame tricks. There is a mirrorless wrap to Turtle Rock, which I think is probably newer. but that's not in logic either. It looks a little more complicated. Actually, it looks kind of similar to the Ice Palace Flippers wrap. I'm actually not really sure why that one's not in logic.
You can be required to clip to the Turtle Rock Bridge area to get in through that direction instead of the normal non-glitch way with the medallions. So generally, we don't care about medallions in Turtle Rock.
The Turtle Rock medallion can logically be required, often-ish, because you can waste your keys in a way that'll force you to go through the front. But usually we don't care.
Yeah, and in Turtle Rock, of course, one of those dungeons where you go up the stairs and the key is not actually using the door, so it's easier to not waste your keys. But I don't think the logic takes that into account, or at least not in this mode.
Well, it'll assume that, because like you can just turn around and use the key on the door for no reason after you go through it. It takes that into account, because you can waste it really easily. But because of that, you're almost always in situations where you're breaking key logic, or you're never going to actually try to. Oh wow, hookshot!
Wow, that is a location.
That's really not too bad.
I mean, you can clip to that without. I mean, he did it kind of sort of the normal way because he did mirror to it, but yeah, you can clip to that in the light world.
That's not really I don't think that's really a bad location to get to. So like all the logic that he doesn't know about with regards to the hookshot yet from not having gone to GT, it is not really being an issue for him.
Yeah, ironically, the hookshot might send him to GT to do those checks, depending on what we find in the rest of Turtle Rock.
So I don't know how far people think down the line of this, if I don't know if Chex will see we'll see the lamp in GT and then like connect all the dots to be like, oh, he's checked a bunch of stuff where hookshot couldn't be. But also we're still looking for fire rod and ice rod, so I think it's not going to be too big of a deal that he checked all the MITS stuff.
I mean, obviously, if he'd been only looking for hookshot, then it matters. But yeah, ice rod, fire rod still at large. We did see powder, which we know has nothing, but it isn't still always a nice safety. So.
Yeah, I think one benefit from coming from... Actually, I'm not entirely sure if it's the benefit of Laser Bridge. But unfortunately, Chex had a key at this point to be able to open the door south from Tromps. Because sometimes the layout can... I think this depends on your route to the dungeon too. But I've seen a couple races where like the way they routed the keys ran out of keys before getting to the top there, and weren't able to get enough keys to get to the big key from at the top to get to Trinex, and that ended up being a problem in some of the races before.
Okay, so we did see everything but the fire rod locked items, and nothing in Turtle Rock but that hookshot in Mimic Cave. We'll see if krelbel does that through Turtle Rock, or he can, like I said, just clip to that on its own.
Okay, so Check's going to do Harapot. We're finally going to see the top of Hera, and we're going to see if that small key is available. So this might actually be a scary situation if...
Yeah, normally you want to see Moldworm drop the item. I think in this case you don't.
Yeah, so there's also a potential problem, like if we do get the key and we use it to get to Swamp, and we lock ourselves out of Hera Basement. So it's like, Logic does not expect you to use the Hera key in Swamp, and you can totally key lock yourself out of Hera Basement. So if Hera Basement is something important that you need, you still kind of have the option to steal the key rat from the castle, but that's actually kind of
you can steal a key from Meyer to get to Hera Basement, I assume.
Yeah, but you can't do that if the Meyer medallion isn't in Hera Basement.
Right.
That's like the big thing.
Oh, yeah. That sounds pretty.
that can
Now we
totally
did,
happen.
yeah, and in fact, we did just see a single arrow, so we don't even have the hierarchy available.
Okay, but we know that we're not going to be screwed out of an item, because I think that was 2 items.
Yeah, it was 2 items.
In Hera. So we're not going to be screwed out of anything in Hera Basement if we, like, if anyone mismanages keys there. But, so likely what Chex is going to end up doing, I guess, is probably steal, actually, I won't say for sure if it's likely or not.
I mean, it depends on, if he finds Bombos, and you know, Chex with that hook shot, it wouldn't surprise me to see him go and just do GT right now. Not just the right side, but sorry, not just the left side, because he will get that lamp. He could just go ahead and do the climb right now, and he's not going to miss anything since he has that hook shot.
Yeah, we still have a lot of places left to search. And there's still, like, Pendant Ice as well, which I know nobody wants to go to. Actually, theoretically, Swamp could be available if the keys vanilla, too.
Yeah.
1 in 10 chance.
1 in 10.
We actually, I think there was a race yesterday where the fact that the swamp key was vanilla, although, like, you don't count on it being vanilla for going through the front, once you find out it is vanilla, it has logical implications in that none of the swamp stuff is locked by Meyer Medallion. So it actually enabled the Cane of Samaria to be in there when it wouldn't, may not have been able to be otherwise.
Chex wants to powder the anti-fairy, and then maybe he'll see if he'll switch to the cape after. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because the bunny beam, it will not disappear.
It just sits on you.
If you use the cape, yeah, it just sits on you, and then it, like, gets you as soon as you uncape.
Okay, krelbel about to get his hook shot.
Yeah, I think this is probably not feeling bad for either of them. I don't really know if anyone is, like, behind.
No, because krelbel's doing the Turtle Rock stuff. The Chex is already done. Chex is doing the GT stuff. The krelbel's already done. And it wouldn't even surprise me if krelbel goes straight back into GT and does the climb as well once he's finished up with these Turtle Rock checks.
Yeah, Chex is gonna gain some time for being able to do the climb on the same trip.
Yep.
He has, I guess, lost some time doing all those MITS checks. But krelbel might end up doing them anyways, because we still have a Fire Rod and Ice Rod to find. So there's, like, actually a lot of game left. There's a lot of seeds where, like, in a position like this, the runners are go -1, and it's, like, really more, it's often go -1 with generally easier to find items too, like the hammer, or quote unquote easier. Hammer control quite a bit, actually, but
yeah, I mean, with Fire Rod and Ice Rod blocks nothing but Trinex, and Fire Rod, you know, doesn't really block a whole lot more. Those 2 checks in Turtle Rock and the back of Swamp, it really, you know, doesn't cover that much. I mean, technically there are things that are in logic with Fire Rod that are also in logic with Lamp, but now we've got the Lamp, so.
Oh, krelbel did MITS checks.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I wasn't paying attention because I was looking at checks doing in Turtle Rock, I think.
And
for the last little while, Chex has been doing the new checks.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, again, he could sequence break that right side with that lamp, but now the only thing that can be there really is the Ice Rod. I mean, I guess Bombos could be there too, but.
krelbel was debating on whether to use that key. His last key to access the front of Turtle Rock backwards. Found out there was a key in the big chest. I think maybe it's like regretting not having checked the compass chest, because he doesn't have we don't have Bombos to open the front of Turtle Rock, so compass chest is not easy to get to. Probably the hope at this point is that you know, by the time Fire Rod shows up, it'll make more sense to do it on that trip when you're going to check the Fire Rod block chests up there, or that Bombos shows up to make it easier.
Okay, now both runners on that gold sword.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Gold sword
krelbel has to go
silvers.
back and actually use the hookshot to check hookshot cave chest since he didn't hover.
Oh, it's a very nice silvers Armos fight from Chex there. Yeah, and as I expected, yeah, he is going to go ahead and do the climb. We still have to do the climb. We just don't have to do it last. So, no reason not to do it at this point with that hook shot. Don't have to worry about orphaning any chests. Don't have to worry about hovering, although Chex showed that he is proficient at that. And krelbel going to go ahead and do his Harapot.
So
I'm
we're
really
gonna see if
surprised that the items in Hera were pretty crappy because locked behind that logically locked behind that Bombos medallion, wherever that is.
yeah, the stuff here is probably really deep in logic.
Oof.
They both took a Molder 1 fall. It's kind of funny.
Did.
I swear I see Molder 1 falls happen more often in HMG. Like, it's happened to me too. And the only reason that like that would be true is that you're like overthinking like Hera item counting and logic and stuff.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, Check's almost getting to the point where we're gonna actually see some new checks here.
Oh, I think he did like a dash tap there to cancel the stair lag while still moving down. I always cancel stair lag by moving to the right there, which I think is slow. But
Oh, so krelbel worried about that one check in GT is gonna go. Sorry, not GT. Turtle Rock is gonna go ahead and do that now.
actually, right is I'm just like bad at aiming the Samaria block. That's my problem with that room.
I hate doing this room with lamp. But Chex has no problem with it.
Yeah, so it's nice to bonk, like the way he did. Just
Yep.
there's a lot of problems with that room, but the solutions are you bonk across that gap to not get knocked down by the spark, and it's you can light the top right torch. You can light torches from more of a distance than you would think. It's actually like the pixel range for it is actually like different in every direction. I think I think left and right are the same, but up and down, the pixel ranges for each direction vary pretty wildly. That's a fire rod.
That is a fire rod at the top.
That's a good climb to have done. That's also kind of like that's a little bit gross because it's like you get the fire rod up here and then it's like
and now the ice rod could be on that right side.
Yeah.
And it's it's 4 items right there. I don't know that. I mean, I think you do Skullwoods first. I don't know if we got both items out of Skullwoods or not, though.
You have like after doing Aga 2, you have to choose to come all the way back to GT. So it's not really that great of a choice. Also like so having done the so the fire rod is logically locked by all 4 GT keys with where it is at the Moldorm 2 chest. So obviously there's no keys in there and no big key. But I guess actually, yeah, you can figure out how many items are left in the compass room really easily by seeing if you have the map or compass.
Yeah, that's true.
So but general counting GT items is something I almost never think to do, and there's 20 items in it, so it's like
it's this impossible. I have a hard enough time counting like Ice Palace and Mire with 3 items and 2.
The problem with counting GT is a lot of dungeons you'll count subtractively because you'll
Yep.
just like pay attention to how many keys you're
Yep.
working with rather than items. But with the amount of pot keys and the complicated layout of the doors in GT, that's also a problem. It's like it's worse than Ice Palace in every single way. It's just
Oh, sure
it
is.
never comes up normally.
Yeah, the only other modes I can think of where you count the items in GT are usually key sandy style modes where you can just subtract normally because you don't have to worry about keys and maps and compasses because that's just they're all mixed up.
Chex is doing a DMD, like standard DMD again, which is, I guess is that faster than, I guess that's faster than, he's going to go to skull. Yeah, okay. I guess this is faster than doing the Myths Rock and Kakariko.
Yeah, you don't have a flute, even if you had a flute, they often don't activate it because it's not generally needed. It feels like this is a bit faster.
Never really thought about it, honestly. But
now, the other question is, do you check that first chest in Swamp before entertaining the notion of stealing that rat key?
I don't know. I've never actually done the rat key steal myself. I had to ask what room the Heraclip takes you to, and I was told Cactus Room, which is like before the rat key. So I think like what you have to do is you have to set up the key rat steal by being in Hyrule Castle and opening the sewer door from Hyrule Castle.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I never messed with it myself, so I don't know for sure. But that sounds to me like what you would have to do.
I'm kind of hoping we get to see it here because I have not seen it. I've heard it talked about on other commentaries, so would like to see it in action. I think it'd be a much easier decision though if we already had the Ice Rod. With Ice Rod still outstanding, I could see just trying to find both items, and then if the Ice Rod pops before the Bombos does, then you just go ahead and you do what you need to do to finish the game rather than wasting time trying to find that item that could be pretty much anywhere but in Misery Mire or in Swamp, the place you're trying to get to.
Kind of the thing with like stealing the rat key is a lengthy setup at this point, if I'm understanding it correctly. And the time you're spending doing that is time that you're spending not doing checks. So
right, and that's why I say I could see still looking as long as that Ice Rod's outstanding. And it's not in Skullwood, so like the Ice Rod could be in Misery Mire.
Yeah,
the Bombos shows up first, and we are gonna get a pet check. This could only be Ice Rod, but it is not.
Oh, it's not Ice Rod.
It's definitely not Ice Rod. Okay, krelbel gets his fire on. He's heading to the castle.
Okay, interesting. Is he going to set up the key rat steal? Never actually gotten to witness this myself in a race. Because like you need specific pendant layouts for this to be like super relevant. Like Mire being a pendant, like a lot of the times Mire is going to be a crystal, so it's just like you're going to have to find the Mire medallion anyways to beat the dungeon. That's what you care about. But if Mire is a pendant, it actually makes things really complicated.
And of course, there's nothing stopping that Ice Rod from being in Swamp Palace. Yeah, there he is. Open the door, save and continue.
We logically need Bombos to access Swamp Palace, unless the Swamp Key is vanilla, which we don't know yet.
I'm excited to see this clip.
Why is Chex taking the hair pot now?
Well, where do you do the clip from?
You do it from the beetle room. Like the first flight of stairs you go up. Which is before the big key door.
Before the big key, yeah.
Yeah, okay, he just realized. I think it's like you do this clip so rarely.
Yeah.
I think,
yeah, for sure.
From what it seems, that it was probably just muscle memory to go do Harapot and then
Yep.
go do like the standard clip to swamp. Okay, so gonna do bomb clip in this room, and
There we are.
all right, so this is cool. I'm gonna find this pretty funny if the swamp key
vanilla,
is just
swamp
vanilla
key.
the whole time.
I would say I'd feel bad for him, but I want to see this clip, so I won't feel too bad.
The key rat got away from him. That's I thought for sure the first two rats. He was
Okay,
killing
so
were
the
it.
idea is you clip in from. Okay, I see. So we saw the clip. He grabs the key, mirrors to the front, which because the game thinks he's in Hera, sends him right back to Hera. Now he has to do the. Now you just got. Oh, I really
He
hate.
has to not use it on the door. That's so
Don't.
scary. I really do not like. I do not
No,
like
I don't like
the
this
super
play.
speed Harapot setup in general, but like now it's really.
I mean, you go through all that trouble to get that small key. You really don't want to mess this up. Fortunately, he does not, but that would have been, quite frankly, tragic if he had opened that door by accident. Okay, now we get to see the clip that we're all used to from this mode.
Yeah, finally. So he kind of he bonked the wall at a weird spot. The slope kind of pushed him weird. So he had to do some slight adjustments after the bomb clip to be able to be on the right pixel for the teleport. The Hera to swamp bomb clip gets really messy like that. There's like a lot of little tiny things that can mess it up. So Chex grabbing the keys backwards in the correct fashion to be able to have one to open the swamp door. Not getting any chests to make sure that he doesn't lose any swamp keys that might come up.
Does still have to drain the dam. Fortunately, with the mirror, that's pretty easy. We do have ways of doing that with saving and quitting out of this room.
I guess it probably is better to dive her down, like flood the second trench right away, and dive her down for the key. Yeah, I think that probably is faster, even if you have a hammer coming back in. If you don't have the hammer for this, then it's kind of like you have to take 2 trips no matter what, and you have to do it. And we're finally seeing that the swamp key is not vanilla, so...
But Bombos is logically required.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my
Ice
god.
Rod. That is go
That's
mode.
go mode for Chex.
Chex.
Wow. We'll see if krelbel decides to do the same play. I mean, that ice rod could have literally been anywhere.
Oh
there was no guarantee it was going to be an ice palace.
It could have been in Mire hard locked by Bombos. Like Bombos could have been completely required. But wow, what a play! I feel like this is one of those seeds where just like both decisions, like to either skip sequence break swamp to this extent, or to like try to hunt it down normally. I think both of the decisions were like equally. I don't know if I should say bad, but both of them are like potentially very punishing to pick wrong.
Yes.
And you just can't know.
Because because Swamp House could be completely empty, and you could full clear it and find nothing, and your opponent goes and finds the Bombos medallion, and maybe Ice Red is sitting there in Misery Mire. On the other hand, if krelbel does decide to search for that Bombos and finds it, he may be checking Mire and doing this the slightly longer way. In fact, he is going to go back into GT right side, it looks like.
I almost think like if you find Bombos, if you're krelbel and you find Bombos, I almost think like the right play is to check Mire, because it's like you're like now you're like kind of your advantage is if it's hard required. It depends on how you've been doing in the race and like what you think the chances of your opponent
Yep.
doing the skip are. Like, I don't know. So like the Kira thing does make quite a bit of sense. Just because if you do spike Ice Rod here like Chex did, that's instant go mode. That's all you need.
Yep.
This is one of the most powerful positions to do that play in for the amount of effort involved. But it also could have just been completely the wrong play and wasted a bunch of time too.
Oh, and there is that Bombos over there on the right side.
That's okay. That's insane, actually. In right side GT, behind the fire rod, that was at the very end of the GT climb.
Yep. That was pretty crazy.
And he probably feels good finding that Bombos too. It's just like when you're down to like your last 2 items potentially, and one of them is fire rod. I don't think you want to sequence break right side GT.
No, I wouldn't either. Like you're, yeah. I mean, the odds of it because you're down to because one of those items is that fire rod that you're looking for, and it could be the last thing you get. Could be behind everything. No, obviously except the ice rod. So we're gonna see another clip into Laser Bridge from Chex, I assume, so we can finish this up really quickly.
krelbel doing a clip to get to the to actually get to the rock for Meyer that you're supposed to fleet to.
I assume that that's quicker than going into the Dark World in one of the other locations and clipping the way we normally see.
I don't know. I have no idea, honestly. Maybe. Oh my god, and that ice rod was just like right at the front too.
I know, second check. It would have been worse if it'd been the first check. That would have been amazing because then you could just get it. Would have been accessible at any time, but it was that second check.
He also kind of did have the option to open chests in swamp like on the way out.
Yeah, he did. That's dangerous.
And like risk absorbing the big key. I think maybe because what you do if you get big key like that is you just like go back and you open the swamp big chest before you leave in Hera State, which loses a bit of time, but it's like a risk that you're taking. So you could have had that ice rod even earlier, technically.
With Gold Sword, Trinex has no shot, and Chexhuman finishes that off.
So krelbel doing the logical Meyer dip to at least get his keys to get go from here to swamp. It would make a lot of sense for him to check the items in Meyer. Like Meyer pendant is weird because like unless you have a go mode situation like this, a Meyer pendant is still like usually a thing that you're going to search for items, and it's usually not like bad for an item to be in pendant Meyer like it would be in other modes. But this is just such an extreme case of how the go mode worked out.
And even more to that point, normally you don't want to do that cutscene chest, but here, because to do the clip to Hera, you need to have done that cutscene. You're just going to go ahead and do it and hope that your items are there and not have to do the rest of Meyer.
Yeah, so, I mean, to check the cutscene chest, you have to drop down the hole, and that takes you away from the place you want to do the clip. So it depends, like, whether you want to do the clip right away, maybe, and not do an extra loop around Meyer. It's certainly an option.
We have to do it at some point, though.
Oh, no. So Meyer's a pendant, so you don't really...
No, I mean, but don't you have to... I mean, if you're going to do the clip, though, isn't it required that you do this...
Oh, just for the bomb clip, actually, you can still do like the dash clip or like the one frame sword clips.
So there are other options
without moving it. Actually, the logic can expect you to do the one frame clip here if the fire source is not available and you have to go. It's very rare. Wow. It's like one of those holy grails that like I don't think it's ever come up yet. But
okay, meanwhile, Chex down to 2 hearts, but in phase 3 again. And
Yeah, with Ganon's tower out of the way already, it's kind of similar to cross keys. Like once you enter go mode, not having to do Ganon's tower right after it necessarily. You just got like a straight shot to your last crystal, and then you fight Ganon, and that's it pretty much.
And that's it.
All right, get your GGs in chat for Chexhuman. Going to be taking game 1 with a time of 1:29:10.
Crazy the way that worked out, but GG's to Chexhuman.
So it looks like krelbel's going to keep going. Krelbel has, I think, I guess he doesn't have too much left to search, but it's like all the bad stuff, like drudging through mire. As far as he knows, he's got all of Swamp to search, all of Ice Palace.
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, he's gonna get his go mode pretty soon if he just does the clips here, because that ice rod location, fortunately not having to go into say left side or even the back of.
Yeah, I don't really know what like his forfeit policy is like, but there's a lot of people that like I think I wouldn't blame if they forfeit at a point like this, like just like really not knowing where it could be. There's a bunch of options. Okay. And I think we're gonna get checks in here momentarily. GG's checks.
Yeah, GG's.
Congrats. That was an insane.
Yeah, thank you for showing.
Play.
Yeah, thank you for showing us the key rat steal. I've heard people talking about that for the last couple weeks, or really since the tournament started. But it was cool to actually see it in action.
Yeah, I learned about it during the course of the tournament and a little bit before. So, I did it for the first time in this race.
Oh, nice. Is that why there was a
lots of build up?
Yeah, so a little bit of muscle memory there, where you did the hair pot.
Yeah,
and had to come back.
Yeah, there are a lot of steps, so I was easily confused.
I think I'm pretty like new to HMG, but like I think I assume that I'm new, so I don't realize like how new a lot of the things are in the mode that are maybe actually new to the experts even. So
right.
Yeah. Meanwhile, krelbel found the bombos in right side of GT, and he's about to get his ice rod out of Swamp, so he'll be in go mode shortly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was the plan. Full clear Swamp. If I could put the theory into practice and get the key steal, full clear Swamp, and then check right side GT. So that's pretty annoying logic. So glad to be able to skip that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it seemed like I was torn. Okay, so that's krelbel's go mode, getting an ice rod, which I mean, obviously he knows he's lost already, but if I hadn't like seen the loss yet, I don't even think I'd feel bad about seeing where that was. But it's like that key rat steal is such a lengthy sequence that it's a really hard commitment. Like we were saying that the ice rod could have been in mire, hard locked behind bombos.
Yeah, really could have.
Yeah, I mean, we were even talking about maybe doing it if you find the ice rod first before you find the bombos. It makes a lot of sense to just go for it, but going for it before you find the ice rod, makes sense to maybe not. But I mean, the ice rod could be in Swamp as it was. So in the meantime, looks like krelbel getting his go mode, wanted to solve the seed but didn't want to finish it, and I can't say that I blame him. So hopefully he'll be able to join us as well. I don't know if he is or not, but he is writing in the race room, silly ice rod.
That could very well be a race time room name.
It probably could be. And we do have krelbel with us. GG's.
Hello, everyone. GG.
Yeah, congratulations for solving the seed.
Yep, I wanted to know where it was.
Yeah, you could have just asked.
Well, I had a hunch, so I wanted to follow through on the hunch.
Was
I
it
wouldn't
was it
have.
like a hunch based on the finish time?
No, not really. I if it hadn't been in swamp, I would have quit afterwards. I wouldn't have gone into Vitreous and the two chests in the front of TR and Ice Palace. Those were the only locations left,
no.
as far as I know.
That sounds about right to me, but I mean, we could be all forgetting something for sure.
Yeah. Yep. So GG to Chex. Estimating how long it would have taken me to finish, just based on my usual clear rate, this seems like it would have been about the spread that it usually ends up between Chex and me. So I suspect our routing was well, I suspect our collection rate was fairly similar in the end, but curious to hear about how it went.
I mean, the routing was a lot of switching places, as often happens in these seeds, where one player does one thing and then the other one's doing the other thing, and then they switch. Like I think like Chex did pod without the lamp before GT, but eventually was in GT, and you were doing pod, and just things like that. I think you did Thieves Town in Skullwoods first, or at least checked it. But
How were
yeah.
our hookshot times?
Yeah, you got to the hookshot first.
You
That
That
basically
hookshot was awkward.
Yeah.
basically Chex had it before going into GT.
Hmm.
And krelbel
Yeah.
got it after. It wasn't too different besides that. But krelbel, I guess you triple dipped GT in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a second time going back with hookshot to actually do the climb, and then third time was right side to get bombos.
Yeah. I mean, you might have been able to krelbel avoid a few of those myth checks, possibly. I mean, there still could have been fire rod and ice rod, so I certainly don't blame you for checking them. Chex,
Yep.
when he was doing those, he did not know that those were all hookshot locked and could not be the hookshot, because he didn't realize that the lamp, which gated the myths, was behind the hookshot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like Chex did all the myths checks, and then got the book out of purple chest, and then did the book checks,
Yeah.
and then did hover to hookshot cave. And like obviously, like the rods are still there, but I thought it was really funny that like just for 5 minutes in a row, he checked only things that couldn't have the hookshot and didn't know about it for most of it.
Wait, so Chex, what was your go mode on this one?
Ice rod.
Yeah, it was ice rod for both of you. I mean, in order, you got hookshot, then fire rod, then ice rod, and it's a good thing in particular Chex, because clearly you could have hovered. It's a good thing you didn't, because that fire rod. I mean, I guess you can kill Moldorm and hover, but like leaving that chest behind would have been extremely awkward.
Ooh, yeah.
Punishing for Moldorm bounce.
Oh
Yeah, because you can't kill Moldorm if you're bouncing.
Yeah, so I don't think we mentioned it while krelbel was in here, but Chexhuman did the key rat steal for from Hera.
I was really hoping to do that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it come up yet, and I've heard about it, but I haven't seen how it works. So it was really cool to see. It was quite a commitment too.
I didn't realize how time. Sorry.
I was just saying it was definitely on my mind. I've practiced it before. I've done it in one race before, and if I had found the ice rod before Bombos, then that was first and foremost in my mind. It was keeping an eye out for it, and man, the instant I find ice rod, I'm breaking out that key rat steal. It's gonna feel great. But when I found Bombos before ice rod, I just thought, it's it could be in mire. The key rat steal is slow. You have to set it up. So
it's kind of funny, because before the decision was made by Chexhuman to do it, I was even saying that it just seems more likely you'd do it if you have the ice rod already, and you would just be looking for the bombos. A little did we know that the ice rod was just going to be right there in Swamp.
I
And
had a
that's that
feeling.
second chest.
Yeah, I just had a feeling Ice Rod would be in Swamp, and that Bombos would lead to Ice Rod, and this would be a really great opportunity. Really great opportunity to skip it. But now that I see how long it takes, I don't know that I would make the same exact decision again.
Mhm.
So we'll see.
So you had Bombos when you decided to do that?
No, I skipped Bombos. I did not do right side GT.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
I
so I think-
left Meyer as a risk that there would be
I
nothing
see,
there.
I see.
Yeah, so kind of the
Interesting,
difference
okay.
is like one of you decided you were going to do that after Grubit, and one of you did it before.
Interesting play. Yeah.
It is. I can kind of agree with like seeing how long it takes. I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, I could definitely see either way. But yeah, it did seem to take a long enough time. And I gotta say, Chex, you do it. Everybody seems to do it. When you all do the hook speed to the hair pot, it just scares me every time. You're gonna waste that key and open that door.
Yeah, I eventually felt like I would slip, so went for the select buffer in the end.
Yeah, I always select buffer that just because unbuffered diagonals on the controller that I use are a little bit messy. It's kind of my only complaint about the Pokken Tournament Switch USB controller. Love it aside from that, but yeah, when I switched to it, it did make unbuffered hair pot a lot less consistent. So I started buffering it.
Makes sense. All right, so this was game 1. Do you have your game 2 scheduled yet?
For Saturday.
All right.
Is it
Should be
is
doing-
it Saturday or
For
Sunday?
Sunday.
That's yeah,
Sunday.
Hopefully, you can both agree that you've already got it scheduled. So hopefully
Yeah, I
we'll
think-
get. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think we have a game 2 and 3, if necessary, both scheduled for Sunday. And yeah, looking forward to it. These are this is my favorite format to race, and you know, Chex and I have raced against each other in weeklies and casual overworld and hybrid major glitches races for several months now. So we always have a good time. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward.
All right. Anything else y'all want to add before we go ahead and close this out?
Just thank you so much to Tracy and Azure for commentary, and everyone involved in the production, and everyone who watched. This was a lot of fun, and looking forward to next time.
Yeah, thank you both.
All right. You're very welcome. And also, thank you to Azure for joining me on the commentary and for being able to explain all the glitch stuff that I don't fully understand, because I do my best, but I don't actually run this mode. I just enjoy watching it. So definitely thanks to him. Thank you to our tracker, always the MVPs of our tournaments, Sammy Mus, doing a great job behind the scenes clicking those buttons. We do have a couple races that I believe are going right now. Over on Speed Gaming, we have Tam versus Spleeby. And over on Speed Gaming 4, we have Malmo versus is it Tozo? I apologize.
It's Tajso.
Tajso. So a couple other races still go. I assume we're still going. They started at 10 o'clock for Malmo and Tozo, and 10:30 for Tam and Sleepy. So those should still be going. And go ahead and check those out. Along with let's see. It looks like we don't have a restream for the 11 o'clock race that I didn't even know was there. But that would be PRD Wong versus Mr. Buyer. But lots more to come. Keep an eye on that schedule for the rest of the week.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Yep. Thanks for watching.